Eric Kim. All right, some turbo thoughts. So this one is about thoughts on harmony. So it looks like in modern day living. Oh, bakoba. It looks like in modern day living, everyone wants some sort of harmony. Okay, 아빠가 rear window defrosting 할게요. Okay, defrosting 하고 있어요. It looks like everybody in modern day life, they want some sort of harmony. And you know, you think about like Asian cultures and Zen. 네, 아빠가 defrosting 하고 있어요. You think about Asian cultures and Zen and stuff like that. The bias is always towards some sort of harmony, some sort of Zen harmony. Now, I actually don't agree with that line of thinking. I think harmony is, I think it's too weak of a concept. It's because hey Jim, staying warm? Good morning. Actually, on the contrary, I don't think life is about Sen's making beats on GarageBand right now. So yeah, I think actually the point of life isn't about harmony. It's about something else. I think it's like, you know, sometimes conflict and aggression is quite necessary. So for example, like let's say you're a Steve Jobs and you're trying to pioneer the first OG iPhone, right? Can you imagine all of these like nerds who's like, it must have a physical keyboard like a BlackBerry, or you know, it must have a USB-C, or it must have a USB port, or whatever. Even with the original iPad, people hated it because it didn't have any ports like a traditional computer, but they didn't have the genius vision of a Steve Jobs, right? So actually, when it comes to conflict, one needs to have conflict about things which one really cares for. And I think conflict should be used strategically. I think it should be used when it's something you really care for, right? Like, for example, Rosa Parks, right? Oh yeah, good beats, Martong. Like even Rosa Parks, when she refused to sit in the back of the bus, right? Like, that ain't promoting no harmony, right? So I don't think harmony is the goal. I think something else. Now then it becomes a tricky thing, because who's to say what you believe in is the thing we should be progressing towards? I mean, once again, it's a kind of a, I mean, I think the hard reality of things is that, like, in some ways everyone's trying to fight for power, and even if you think about like American military, etc., like, it's so funny, we have all these like liberals and these softies are all like, yeah, like, you know, military is bad and America is bad because we have all this military, right? But the funny thing that, like, short-sighted or myopic, you know, not even liberals, like, what do I call them, softies, they don't understand. It's like, yeah, bro, like, if it wasn't for US military intervention and presence, or the Department of Defense or wherever, like, you wouldn't be able to, you know, drink your kombucha and read your paperback novels at the local coffee shop and, you know, tweet anti Donald Trump things if it wasn't for like the American government, what, freedom of speech kind of stuff, right? And And I don't think people like, I mean, I think the modern day American or thinker, everyone is too, how do you say it? Kind of like living in a fantasy world, or not hard or soft enough. I mean, once again, like, I'm super anti-military. I don't like, I don't want nobody to die. Like, that's super sad, right? But I think the strategy of American military or Department of Defense, right, is America's gonna have the world's biggest stick, and it's gonna continue to have the biggest stick to keep people from acting out of line, right? And if you're an American and you enjoying your personal freedoms, it's really because the military has the power. Like, the only reason, like, if you're paid in US dollars and you like that, even if you're in Silicon Valley, you're like, working at the big tech companies, right? The only reason why the US dollars are worth anything is because the military. I mean, the value of American dollars is still supreme. Like, people like all these F001s are thinking, yeah, one day we're all gonna be paying with the yuan and China's taking over. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like, think about it this way. Like, the good thing I learned about, actually, when I was in Cambodia, right, in Phnom Penh, all the Chinese people still use US dollars there, right? And the US dollar is still sexier than the yuan. Like, even if you're like a super rich mainland Chinese person, right? Like, would you rather have US dollar bills, or would you have the yuans, right? You would still probably have the yuan. So I think also the cultural supremacy of America through the things are still quite good. Like, another example, right? Chinese people watch American films. Do Americans watch Chinese films? The road goes one way. But anyways, what are we to do with our independence and our freedom of speech and activity? I would say actually just go harder in terms of sharing what's really on your mind, and don't do it in such a way that's like, I just try to do it wisely. Just like, don't be a F001, right? And I think everybody has a different opinion of way things, and everything's a little bit nuanced, right? Like even for myself, right? Like, born and bred in the Bay Area, right? Like, the super liberal capital of the world, probably, right? And I'm like, I'm a Democrat, and I didn't vote for Donald Trump, right? I voted for Bernie and all the other Democrats, but then a lot of my opinions, right, like, is different, right? And then people cannot accept a nuance. Like, if you're a liberal or Democrat, you must subscribe to X, Y, and Z and this list. But I think it's also important to think for yourself on your own two legs, and just know that your opinion is multivariated and has different components, right? And the best way to share your thoughts and stuff like that is not through the YouTubies, not even probably through your podcast. It's probably through your own blog. I mean, what is a blog? A blog is a website that you just frequently update, right? The best way to think about it is all blogs are websites. Not all websites are blogs, because there are some websites that it's just kind of more of a front-facing thing that never gets updated. You have links to your bio and your email or whatever. Whereas a blog is, just think of it like a dynamic website that just gets updated frequently. I mean, my personal ambition is when you go to erickinphotography.com/blog, every time you refresh it or visit it, there's something new, whether it be photos, videos, images, vlogs, blogs, etc. Or even, I mean, the reason I still like the YouTubies is that it just uploads faster. Like, I use VideoPress for my own website, but it's like so slow. Like, YouTubies, the Archimedes lever is the upload speeds are just so much faster and more efficient. And I'm sure one of these days I'm gonna say something and my account's gonna get banned and all my videos gonna get deleted or delisted or whatever. But I'm like, fucking say la vie, right? That's part of the game, right? And I was even thinking about, like, I mean, God forbid my website, all the posts and stuff got deleted or whatever. Like, just Google Eric Kim Learn from the Master. I was like, I'm actually really proud of my Learn from the Master series. I'm like, there is no other resource, whether printed or on the internet, that is as comprehensive as that. I'm like, yo, Eric, props to you, right? And now the kind of the empty category that I see is kind of towards philosophy. I think definitely the world's trend is towards philosophy, because, you know, everyone's got the billions of dollars, but now nobody knows what to do with it. Even Jeff Bezos, right? Like, what, Blue Origin, I'm like, it's kind of a, doesn't seem like anyone really cares for Blue Origin. What is Jeff up to? I need to think about it. It's like, it's funny, everyone wants to become Elon Musk. Nobody wants to become Jeff Bezos. Like, nobody likes him. Like, why does nobody like him? It's like, dude, the guy is like insanely smart. Like, read Invent and Wander. Actually, I've got more respect for Mr. Bezos. Is that this guy's like, he actually came from a very humble background, and this guy is actually like, yeah, just extremely intelligent and has like chutzpah. He's got balls. He's endured a lot. He's had a long range vision. And I guess I didn't know he's been running Amazon for almost 26 years. I'm like, that's a lot of years. So I'm like, dude, Jeff, you know, if you want to fuck off and do something else, like, dude, go for it. Like, 26 years, that's a pretty good tenure. Anyone who's dedicated 30, like close to 30 years of their life to anything should have the privilege to just put down their hat and just kind of F off and do something else. Even Jeff was interesting. It's like, everyone's like, yeah, Jeff is so rich and not donating money, blah, blah, right? Ultimately, I think, you know, even Jeff was like, I want to be remembered as Jeff Bezos, the innovator or the inventor or something like that. I mean, he was a garage inventor, which was pretty cool. Yeah, read Invent and Wander. Read the second part of the book where he talks about his personal life and his family. It's actually quite warming. You learn a lot. And he apparently had to have over 50 meetings before he was able to raise the initial $1 million fund monies that would start Amazon. So yeah, Jeff, kudos to Jeff. Also start your own monster story. It's good for your kids. I guess one person might think it's like, once you're the quadrillionaire, what do you want to do with your life? I think a lot of people, yeah, I think it should be about like experimentation, innovation, kind of motivation, sharing your thoughts and stuff like that. Trying to like, you know, certainly live your best life, but also trying to like inspire and motivate other people. My personal philosophy is, if I blog something or vlog something or publish something or share it on the YouTubies or podcasts. Oh yeah, I have a podcast, by the way. Just open up Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever you use and just search Eric Kim Podcast. I actually have a podcast. I just upload the sounds there too. Is if my whatever I create and share can make somebody's life a little bit more better or interesting or fun or inspiring or motivational or whatever, it's all kind of worth it. So all for the sake of one other human being seems to be a good strategy.